What's up, everybody? Jingle12 here. We're back once again with another video, and today we're going to be discussing the tower changes that have happened so far in the game of Cube Defense. We have a lot of different towers that have been changed, and actually each one that I have prepared has been listed below except for this guy. I don't even know what this is doing here. Don't ask me. But the rest of these towers in here have been changed in some way that I'll be showing you guys here in a second. So before we get any further, I'd like to call out those of you who are not subscribed. If you would please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. That's very kind of you. You don't have to. It's always your choice. Never mind. But it is very nice of you. You can come back to the channel quite easily as I am on your subscriptions list, and you can find more content similar to this all the time very easily. But now that I've made out that call to my subscribers, thank you for checking out this video, guys. I'm glad you said hello and watching this. And for all of you, if you would like to hit the like button at some point during this video, feel free to. But you don't have to, as I always say. All right, now that I've gone through the welcome here, let's go on ahead and look here at the towers. So I have 9 towers here. Not this, that one's just, I don't know what you're doing, but you're just there, and then I placed that. We have 9 towers that we are going to be looking at here, and each one has been changed differently. We actually have had a lot of changes, of course, with the revamp, but we also have some towers that have been disabled. We've including Enhancer, Stealth Bomber, Santa's Sleigh, and Spike Trap, which was actually a beta tower. I'm surprised I haven't gotten the beta tower functioning. It's a pretty important tower, but as of currently, none of these towers have been, none of those towers are active at the moment. We don't know what they will look like when they come back. I believe, especially Stealth Bomber, will be very different. I don't know how Spike Trap or, I know Enhancer, there's plans for Enhancers to have special enhancing abilities for military grade towers, but we don't know anything for certain at the moment. Whenever I'm looking at this, I'm realizing I don't have really any military grade towers in my inventory, which is kind of strange. The only one that I have that could be possibly is the bubble tower. But even so, that's bubbles. I don't know if that's really military grade. The raft here is what we need to discuss first. And this was actually made later into revamp, but this change involved the standing ability to stand on a raft. You can now stand on a raft with these tower. Now it's not so major on the map like this one where the water is solid, but there are some maps out there that have non-solid water you can swim in. So being able to jump on a raft and stand there above the water is kind of nice on some maps. This one isn't a great example, I'll be honest, but it is a very nice tower to be able to use, not only for standing on, for placing towers on, and it is quite effective on especially high water consistent tower maps like the bridge. I forgot the name. Is it bridge? I don't know. It's a hard mode map. I think it's bridge. I hope. Okay. Revert. Okay. All right. The next tower that we have to discuss is, as we continue down the line, is the star. And you guys may not immediately realize what I'm talking about here, but if you look, oh gosh, my face. Ugh, okay. You look here, we get to level 3 upgrade, and then you hit level 4, and there are no supporting stars. None. It has no extra stars like it used to before revamp. This is its only star. It has no other ones. It's completely different. And that is so it can it has less shots, but it does more damage on the center. It's it's a single laser now. I think it's to reduce lag. There may have been some other reasons, but from what I've heard, it either has to do with lag or it's performance, something like that. May have been part of the code that was just getting in the way, but they removed that. And the same thing also goes for the Lord Zozo tower. And as you can see here, at that state it doesn't have its support stars. That state doesn't have its support skulls. Yeah. So that's the big difference on this guy. However, he also has another major difference, and this one actually wasn't immediate. If you guys watch here, if I start spawning some things like a Shadow Cube boss, look what happens to his damage. See how his damage increases? He's got this new ability to increase damage depending on the tower. So if I spawn, say, let's see, do we have a good tower anywhere here that we could spawn to show off? We got the basic cube zombie boss. Oh, okay. I was confused. That confused me. Oh, yeah. He also blows up, but that's kind of similar feature. But as you can see, its damage is increasing over time. That is another change. I've heard that that's also been planned for these, but it hasn't come out yet. I've heard Weeby say something about it eventually also being a part of the stars of Zozo, but for right now, there is no functionality that way. Next tower that we need to discuss, we've already discussed Lord Zozo and all that. Let's discuss the tomb. And the tomb has been changed actually quite significantly. Like all other towers, it's almost, well, not all, but most other towers, it's been reduced in the amount of shots, turrets, or like shooting points it has. It was used to be have 5 at maximum. Now it only has 1. Now it looks different, yeah, and it looks like it's got a ton, but it's only shooting 1, and you guys will see why in a second. Let's go on ahead and just spawn an infinity cube and see what happens here. I'm gonna go ahead and sell this because these guys are just in the way. But watch here. Well, that's really not a great description, but if I spawn a bunch of baby witch cubes, you see, not only is it hitting them, it's slowing them, and it's an explosion now. It's no longer just a single shot that lightning strikes. It's a big explosion that slows all cubes. The damage is actually high directly to the target, but it's also does a good splash damage of 50, so it's a pretty reasonable tower to use. I don't know why it's also got a big disadvantage though with its targeting, as it cannot tag a cube that has been slowed down. So it's not going to be able to hit this purple cube again, I don't believe. Not for a moment, at least. Same thing for the infinity cube until that... But see, now it's sped up. So that's the biggest disadvantage with this thing, is that it just can't hit cubes that have already been slowed down. And then also with that, the same thing as before, it also breaks frost rail. So anybody that owns frost rail, this is not going to be a tower that you're going to want to use, as it basically breaks the tower. And you do not want to lose that freezing ability of the frost rail. Alright, so the next tower that we need to discuss, I actually just realized I can't actually show it really well to you guys, but this is the MK2 temple, and it has been changed a lot. It was disabled for quite a while after Revamp, but once it came back, it was not as we expected it to be. It no longer just does damage, it now bonuses Sun Temple damage, up to the point where you can get more than, I think it's, what is this? I need to find it. It increases different things, which, oh, that's kind of surprising. I didn't even realize that it had more than just damage increase, but it does 25% damage increase. You got four temples, that's a 5th temple right there. 5 temples, you've got a temple and a half extra of damage right there. 25% range increase, which matters on some maps, not all maps. I would be surprised if that matters everywhere. And then upgrade price decrease. That helps a lot whenever you're maxing out your temples. 20% is a big bonus. But this tower is just a support tower now. It is no longer a main defensive tower, to our sad reality. Still looks beautiful though. I mean, absolutely beautiful. But no, it does not. It has a major range, so it can hit almost anything on any map whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about that, as you guys can like probably clearly see. Look at the range. The range is 150. That's insane. To give a comparison, the Lord, when maxed, let's look at his range here. That's his range right there. That range is 50. So that's 3 times that, which is, you guys can kind of see here. That big. You may have saw that circle for a second. It wasn't too big, but it was pretty big. I'm sorry, but that's the temple. That was the temple's range there, or at least at level 1. I don't know if it increased. Does it increase? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know everything, do I, guys? No, range stays the same. So the next one that we have to discuss actually is the gold mine, and I don't think a lot of people have been using this tower much anymore. And I'm going to tell you guys why in a second. And you may already know and if you don't, you're going to figure it out pretty quick. The tower no longer gives gold every couple of seconds in a game. What it does now is it instead only gives gold every wave. So at the end of a wave, it'll give you a certain amount of gold and only that amount of gold. So for example, I've got this guy maxed out here, and he will give me 5 gold every wave. That is quite limiting, especially when you're on a lower difficulty level, or if you place it in a lower wave, you probably get, if you had 50 waves and you had this guy maxed out for 50 waves, you would only get 250 gold. Now, with 7 of them all maxed out, which is nearly impossible as they cost an insane amount of money to get that far, as you guys can maybe see here, it's quite expensive. Not horribly, but enough that you're not going to get them all on the first wave. It may take you like to wave 10 or 20. But once you get enough maxed out, I mean, it's a lot of them will do something, but it's not going to get you an insane amount unless you truly focus on getting those gold mines there at the beginning. And that can be difficult, especially on hard and chaos mode, as you really need to focus on defending. Now that we have gone over gold mine, we can move on to the next one, which actually is the Campfire. The Campfire has been changed too, and not only because of its support, the way the it supports, as it looks different, but it also has different abilities. The abilities have changed a little bit. The range increase is still there. These numbers are all different from what I can tell. I don't know how different, but I've heard that they're pretty different from what they were originally. Or at least from what I've seen, they seem to be quite different. But 20% range, Shadow Sight, which was one from the previous version of the tower. The previous version did have Shadow Sight at level 2 and range at level 1. But I don't know, it was a specific set of units of increased range instead of a percentage increase. That was actually changed before Revamp, and it was carried over into the current update. The upgrade cost has also decreased. I believe that's pretty similar to what it was originally. The range increase may be similar too. And then finally, map health, which is a new functionality of the tower, which basically gives extra health every wave if you are less than your maximum. I can't really display that as I have infinite HP here, but it will give you more HP every wave if you don't have max. The next tower we have to discuss clearly is the Bubble Tower, and as you guys can see, it already looks very different from what it used to be. The original tower made by Baby Girl was very, very different. Looked a lot different. It was a big totem-like tower with it was more of a tower than a gun, and it shot a little bit of a bubble like laser or something like that. I can't really describe it too well, but it was a very different tower. And I believe the devs decided that it needed to be changed to something that was a bit more on spot with Cube's design. So what they did is they made it into a gun here. And that looks really, really good. Different, though, I will note, from the original new version of the Bubble Tower. The original Bubble Buddy had 2 barrels like this one, and I don't believe it was that long, so they changed that at some point after Revamp. I don't know when, though. I do not know. But that looks pretty cool, and they, as you can probably see, let me display you here with some, let's use some lighter cubes, because these are starters. That's not even going to touch them, is it? Yeah, no, they're not going to touch them. But as you can see, they shoot bubbles, but it isn't a tower, it's a gun that's shooting bubbles. It's a laser. It's not a laser anymore. So definitely a fun tower to use, but it's pretty high damage for its level. Well, a good starter tower, but it's very different from what it used to be. Very different. And I believe there's only one tower left to discuss, and that is this guy. The Dat Ice has been changed as well. Now, this may be new to you, I do not know, but what happened is it was decided that this tower actually was too overpowered with its freezing abilities. It needed to have a little bit of a reduction in its power. So instead of freezing towers like the Frost Rail does, it only slows them. But it does have an increase in range, an increase in damage, and the tempo gain's pretty high. Probably higher than what it was for. It's a much better tower in terms of defense, but it's still supporting as it slows down cubes. It does not actually do that much damage. But look at that. It's already done a good 150 damage. So, I mean, it's not bad, and it's still hitting them from this distance, and it's slowed them down significantly. So they're still worthy of being used if you own this tower, but Frost Rail clearly is better as it does more damage and fully freezes the cubes, so they will not move at all. Frost Rail is the only tower as of the current that can still, as of the recording of this, that can fully freeze the cube. So definitely a much better tower than these, but these still have their own bonuses with their ability to slow down. I don't know whether or not the tomb could be considered better because it does slow down cubes as well, but it doesn't do... Well, take that back. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide here because the tomb could probably do pretty much the exact same thing the permafrost does because of the amount of damage it does and the slowing ability it has. I'll let you guys decide. I will note the tomb is much more expensive than these guys are, but they are... Wait a second. Can I... It says I can upgrade. Okay, that was kind of weird. That's kind of weird. That needs to be fixed. But that's definitely... the tomb could definitely compete against these guys. But as all towers that have slowing ability, they do break the Frost Rail's freezing ability. Do not use any of these towers in combination with the Frost Rail, as the Frost Rail will lose its ability to fully freeze cubes, as these guys will reset the rate of movement of those cubes, therefore eliminating the freezing action. I don't know. I made that sound very scientific. Basically, if your Frost Rail freezes something and then one of these guys decides to hit one of those frozen things, then it'll change the speed to the speed that it thinks it should be, which is a certain percentage. It'll change the speed then what the Frost Rail changes the speed to 0, and then this guy will change the speed again, setting it to a different speed, which ruins the Frost Rail's speed of 0. So that's basically what trying to make it sound basic. I'm sorry if that got too complicated. I said that in a really weird way. But that's all the tower changes that I can think of. I do actually have one more to mention, but I kind of didn't bring it with me. The battleship has been changed in the firing. It no longer has a missile launcher, and it has a bunch of little guns that shoot a lot more like a minigun than they do like how they were previously as one big full shot. So they are much more powerful. It's a much better tower now, definitely worthy of being used. Very different of what it was previously, but it's lost its missile launcher, which is a sad loss. But it is still a good tower nonetheless, and I would encourage you guys to use it, especially with maps like this one where there's a lot of water. Guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? You don't have to. It is your choice, not mine. But guys, once again, I hope you all did enjoy this video. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.